Welcome to She Sells Radio. First of all, hello, episode 200. I was planning these out last week and I was like, holy crap, I can't believe we're about to hit 200 episodes and here we are. So, if you have, regardless of when you came in on this journey, I know some of my listeners have been listening like from the very beginning, from when it was Instant Impact podcast, like way back in the day, throwback. Or if you're brand new to this and this is your first episode, welcome. I'm so excited you're here. I am so great. I like get chills saying it's episode 200. That really blows me away that we have come and grown. I think we've grown together in so many ways. There have been so many life changes that have happened in my world, and I know in yours over the course of the past few years. And I'm really excited for this moment. And so this was not intentional for episode 200. If I wasn't really excited to share this, I'd probably have like 200 things I've learned over my life, which you would never want to listen to that episode. You would be done right now. It's far too much. But what I am excited to bring to you on this episode is actually the recording of a really, really amazing conversation that I had recently with this powerful group of women who are already at the six-figure level. They're ready for more in their lives. They're ready to scale to multi-6 or 7. And it was a really incredible conversation. So I'm only going to share the first half. The second half, we did live coaching, and I want to, just for the privacy of all the women there, obviously keep that part confidential, but you'll get to hear some of what I shared about what I think it really takes to go to that next level in your finances and your career. And then you'll get to hear from some women who have as well. So I hope you enjoy. It's a longer episode for a quote unquote short form episode. It'll be probably about an hour or so. But take notes. You'll get so much out of it. And we will host another one of these roundtable conversations in the next few months. So if you aren't yet on my email list, go to elisearcher.com. It'll show you where to join the list. And that way you can get notified, because there is the opportunity at the end of this for private group coaching with me, to come and get coached and ask your questions. And we had such great feedback from this that we will be doing another one in several months. So get ready to listen in and enjoy the conversation. Welcome, welcome, ladies. Oh, you know what? I thought I'm going to start a minute early just because I could sense how needed this conversation was today. And I'm so excited to see you all lined up. We've got Jodine, we've got Anna, we've got Lynn, we've got Harrison. I don't think that's Harrison, but I'm so glad you're here. We've got Faith, Laura, Erin, Susan, Mary, Melanie. Welcome, ladies. Hey, as you are coming in today, I want you to please introduce yourself in the chat. Let everyone know who you are, where you're coming in from, and what you're here for today. So what are you most excited for? What are you here to learn, here to get out of today? You know, this is, I've just been so excited by what I've already been hearing from women about this conversation. And I will tell you too, in full transparency, I thought about having everyone, because it is, it's a conversation, it's a round table. So there's going to be a lot of interaction. I thought about having everyone do their own intro at the beginning. And then with the amazing women we have here and the number of women, it would have taken half the thing just to do that. So I thought, you know what, for now, I'm going to have you introduce yourself in the chat. Let me go ahead and pull this up. Melanie, we are so excited to have you here. So again, as you are coming in, who are you? Where are you coming in from? What are you here for? We've got Jodine. Jodine, it's been forever. It's so good to see you. Coming in from Oregon, excited to learn how to serve others in a massive way and scale, diversify my income. I love that so much. Susan, so good to meet you. I'm so glad you're here in B2B sales for 15 years. Amazing. Stacy coming in from Frisco, Texas. We've got a lot of Texas ladies today, which is really fun too. Melanie in sales 5 years in New Jersey. Beautiful. Susan in San Diego. All right. I am so glad to meet many of you for the first time and to see some incredible returning faces. We've got Jen in from Ohio. Learn ways to achieve my income goals and be inspired by all of you around me. Christina coming in from Atlanta, Georgia. Christina, I moved from Atlanta like a year ago. So very, very cool. We've got Michelle Fishering in the house from Colorado. Joe, so good to see you. So as you're coming in, ladies, and hopping on, again, presence yourselves in the chat. Who are you? Where are you coming in from? What are you here for? I'm going to go ahead and kick off because we have so much good to cover today, but I want you to keep introducing, and I'm going to be checking chat periodically as we go. Can everyone hear me okay? We're okay on sound? And okay, amazing, amazing. So here is a little bit of expectation for today. And again, this is the first roundtable conversation we've done like this. So it was literally an inspiration like a week and a half ago. And I was like, I don't know if people are going to want to do this or not, but I felt like from the response, I'm just moving your videos over here so I can see you. It seemed like this was so needed. And I'm curious, for those of you who are here, I'm imagining that there's probably not a lot of women in your lives who you can have these types of conversations with, right? Where it's like women performing at a super high level, where we're not apologetic about wanting more. We want to support others. We want to live our best lives too. But it seems like, at least my own experience and part of the inspiration for She Sells too, was there aren't a lot of communities for women like us who are really like already operating at a high level, but ready for so much more, and who want to support and encourage each other in that too. So am I on the right track there? Is that what you all are feeling as well? Incredible. So I am going to, I love how so many of you have camera on. I know it's not always possible to have camera on, but I would love for as many of you as you can to have camera on today. I want to keep this super interactive. And please also connect and engage with each other in the chat. I want you to get to know each other. This is going to be the first half of this is going to be more me doing some teaching and training and sharing. The second half is going to be a lot of dialogue, a lot of coaching, but please, like, I love seeing you engage in the chat. Yeah, pop your LinkedIn, like connect with each other. So it's a really, really good opportunity for that. So I know many of you. I don't know all of you. For those of you I don't know, hi, my name is Elise. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called She Sells. I'm a wife. I'm a mom, like many of you. And I really created She Sells. I'll just do a super quick intro of myself. I created She Sells after spending, like many of you, decades in sales or a long time in sales. Had the opportunity to serve as a partner in this 8-figure global sales coaching organization. And I saw that there were 3 really fundamental things missing in most sales and business coaching and training for women. And what I found was that at least what I was a part of, and I'm curious to see in the chat, has this been your experience or maybe not, but there was a lot of good tactical stuff out there. Now, granted, a lot of the tactical training didn't feel right to me. It felt pushy. It felt off. It was like, force the client to a yes, like hustle, kind of like that hustle, push, force energy, which I don't know about you, that never resonated with me. But when it was just the tactical, for me in my own life, the needle wasn't really moving a whole lot. And so I'll share a little bit of my kind of backstory in a moment. But for me, the 3 core things that really moved the needle, and I know each of you is here because you're here for more, probably in all areas, obviously financially, but more in all areas of your life, were healing relationship with money. Because right, in sales and business, we're dealing with money all the time. Yet a lot of times we have a really kind of like jacked up relationship with money, if we're super honest with ourselves, right? Learning how to rewire belief systems, because 95% of your results come from your subconscious beliefs about what's possible for you. And then learning a more aligned approach to sales and money making that felt right for me as a woman. And so you'll hear me speak to some of those today, especially in the first hour as we do more training and coaching. And so that was really the inspiration. And we've built this really incredible community of women who are saying yes to more, going for more in their lives. And that's why I'm guessing you're here too. Who is here? And you can even just do show of hands if you're on camera. Who is here because you're ready for more? Right? And who in here thought that you were going to hit 6 figures and you'd be set? Like, who was like, 6 figures is the goal. And once I make 6 figures, I'm set. And who in here hit it and was like, holy crap, like I still don't feel like I can pay my bills, right? Does anyone? And so I get it. Like, I get it if that's where you are. And I want to start right off the bat by saying you are not wrong for wanting more. You are not wrong for wanting more. The world will try to tell you you are. Other people will try to tell you you are. Your own limiting beliefs will try to tell you that you are and that you should be satisfied with what you have. But you are not wrong for wanting more. And we're going to unpack why, and we're going to unpack the how today as well. So here's again, my guess. Like, I know some of you, I don't know a lot of you yet, but my guess is for most of you in this room, you are the one that everyone looks at and says, she's got it all figured out. Like, she's got the life, right? Is that, and again, show of hands. And this is a safe space. I want this to be a place where we don't have to play small, where we don't have to apologize for taking up space, where we don't have to act like we're anything less than what we are. But how many of you, you're that person? Like, other people look at you and they're like, she's got the career, she's got the life, she's got the family, she's got the money, right? And that's what you're told. And yet deep down, how many of us have other people look at us like that, but still experience things like anxiety around money, right? Or overwhelm, or the internal struggle of having this big vision and this big life that you see for yourself. You know, I read it in your intakes for those of you who filled it out, like the house on the water, the travel, the retiring your husband. Like, I read those. I appreciate the time you put into those. And I know what those desires are like. And yet you don't feel like you can say yes to those things yet, right? You don't feel like you have enough for that. Or self-doubt, right? Just being so honest. Again, other people look at you and they're like, she's the one who's got it all figured out. She doesn't ever doubt herself. She doesn't ever question herself. Most people wouldn't know that these things come up for you. And yet I know what that's like because I've been there. And who in here, and again, I'm going to share some of my own story. It's been a journey. Like, I still don't have it all figured out by any means. I'm figuring it out as we go. But I do love when we can just share with each other and be honest. So if you're comfortable, who in here to some extent feels like you're settling in your life at this point? Like, it's good, but it's not epic. It's not the great life that you've dreamed of. And I appreciate the honesty there. And here's the thing I want you to remember is, again, other people look at you and they're like, she's got it all figured out. Somebody else's version of big can be your small. So even though a lot of people would look and say, like, if I could just have her life, that would be amazing. For you, I'm going to just go out on a limb and assume that because you're here, in certain areas, parts of your life feel too small for you. And that can be, you know, we do a lot of work with women on money and financial story in the She Sells community. So for many of us, it's like, even if we're bringing in six figures, multi six figures, low six figures, it's not enough, right? It's not enough for our true calling and for the life we want to live. Or maybe it's a less than fulfilling job situation or less than incredible health story, right? So I get it. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. I want you, if any part of you has made yourself wrong for wanting more, today is the invitation to really drop that once and for all. And we don't need to unpack too much why this happens. I think there's so much conditioning in society with, you know, women staying small and staying in this certain box. But what I find usually with the women in the community is it's not that you don't have what it takes. It's not that you don't have the smarts, the talent, the brilliance, the relationships. It's that at some point you were told, either actually told or subconsciously told, that you were too much. That's usually what it is. You were told at some point that you were too much, that you wanted too much, and you started settling to please somebody else, to please a parent, to please a partner, to please society, right? And then we're also told that to be successful in sales, in business, to make the money that we want to make, it's all about hustle, grind, push, right? It's about who's going to work the longest hours, pushing or forcing the sale, like put away your feelings, just do the work. You can't have it all, right? That's the messaging. You can't have the epic family life, the health, the beautiful career, the full bank account. And by full, I mean more than enough, not just enough, but more than enough. You can't do that and travel the world, buy the dream house, and have a great relationship with your partner, right? We're told these things. How many of us were told these things? And so we feel like we have to settle. And so why I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today is I'm very clear on my mission at this point in my life is to help women step into far greater levels of abundance and success, doing it their own way, doing it their own way. And so here's what I'll say. We're going to talk a lot about money today, because if we're being honest, like we're all ready for more money, right? So that to me that's usually where I start with women, is helping you on your money journey and your money story. But it's not just about the money. And we've got some members of the community and members of our programs here live today. And shout out to all of you. I'm so glad you're here. But I think every woman in here who has been on this journey herself would say the money is kind of the byproduct of what we're going to talk about today. It's literally about stepping into the greatest version of yourself in all areas. So what I care about for you, and again, we're going to get to know each other more today, but what I care about you is not only are you making the money you want to make and financially supported the way you want to be, but are you happy? Not every day, because none of us are there, right? But are you happy most days? Are you fulfilled? Are you at peace in your life? Do you feel like your most beautiful, vibrant self? Are you living your impact? Are you having the lifestyle you want? Are your relationships exciting and invigorating? Do you feel lit up? Do you feel on purpose? And do you feel like, for the most part, again, it's never always, but for the most part, things are flowing relatively easy in your life and what you want is coming to you? And so, and of course, yes, the money too. So that's really my mission. And I want to just reiterate, you are not wrong for wanting more. You are literally wired for expansion. It is in your DNA. How many of you have set a goal and you thought it was going to be that mountaintop moment, and you're like, I'm going to hit this goal and I'm done. Like, life is complete, right? This is it. I'm complete. And who was that true for? Did anyone hit the goal and maybe you celebrate for like a day, a week, and then what happens? You're like, okay, what's next? Right? There's nothing wrong with that. It's this concept of divine discontent. There's nothing wrong with that. It's your growth. It's how you're wired. You are wired for expansion. And so, to any extent that you haven't experienced the growth that you desire financially, career-wise, spiritually, life-wise, there's often, what I find in women is that there's some sort of shame involved, or feeling like you should settle for what you have, the shame for wanting more. And here's what I want to say: never, ever, ever go there with yourself. I'm all about being grateful for what we have. I have a huge amount of gratitude and appreciation in my life. That's an important piece of it. But you are wired for more. And I want you to start looking at your desires are green lights. The very fact that you can have a desire, and I want to spend time with all of you in the second half today, talking about your desires, coaching you on your desires. But I just want to tee that up. The fact that you have the desire means it's meant for you. Not for me, not for Stacy, not for Laura, not for Faith, for you. That is the only indication you need. And it also means, because anytime we step into our true power as women, it's always a double blessing. So that means that by you saying yes to more in your life and saying yes to that desire, it's not only going to benefit your life, it's going to benefit so many other lives around you. Some of which think about it, team, hiring people, it flows money out, it circulates money out, right? You putting yourself out there, you sharing your story, you never know who you're going to impact. It's always the double blessing. And so we get to really have faith in that we get to really trust in that. And it's time for women like us to start seeing our desires as green lights and going for them. Okay. So I want to get that out of the way right off the bat, because so often I see women doubting themselves, questioning themselves, spinning me like, do I even go for this thing? Yes, you do. If it's your desire, it's meant for you. And I'll share super briefly part of why I'm so lit up about this. My own journey, I was in corporate sales. I was in very male dominated environments. I know quite a few of you here, you're in all different industries. I know we got a lot of women in the house from insurance, financial services. So if you're in a male dominated industry, sister, I feel you. That's how I rolled. And I did all the right things. And in my mid 20s, I found myself, at the 6-figure mark, top of the leaderboard at work, had the house I thought I was supposed to have, had the car I was supposed to have. No one knew I was struggling with crippling anxiety, panic attacks. I had an eating disorder I wasn't telling anybody about. I was always in fear about money. It was always like, will there be money next month, or will it go away? I was in an abusive marriage, and I was grinding myself to the bone, like literally getting up at 2 a.m., working until 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night to make what I realize now was a very small amount of money that I was making God. And so I went on to stay stuck. I did some healing work and got out of the relationship and started going on my healing journey, but I still stayed stuck at the same level financially for 10 years. And all the while I was investing tens of thousands of dollars in coaching, doing all the tactical things. I was taking the super masculine approach. I was doing way more than everybody else around me, and the needle wasn't moving. And I just went on this journey. I was like, there's got to be a better way. Like, this is not what life is meant to be. Right. And so at a certain point, it's like, when you're really ready for that change, you'll be given the opportunity for the how. For me, I got super serious about changing. We'll talk a little bit more about like what it really takes to change today. Invested way out of my comfort zone, invested half of what I made the whole last year to hire a mentor. I felt super called to work with, leaned in, practiced what I now teach in my coaching and live in my daily life. And after being stuck for 10 years, in 6 weeks, went from $100,000 years to $100,000 months. And it was almost so fast. It was like, is this really possible? I don't even recommend that speed of the journey for most people, because it was a little bit like whiplash. Not that anyone's going to be mad at that, right? But we're going to talk today about some of the principles that I've learned along the way to really get you unstuck into another level. But speaking of the double blessing, and I want you to really think about today as I share this, like, what is your double blessing? What is your version of how you stepping into your greatness is going to help other people? In the process, we were able to do things like move into a dream home. I was able to provide financially for our family so that my husband, I got remarried along the way, didn't share that part of the story, but great guy. So he could stop working and study for medical school, because that's his vision and his mission now. We're literally being able to donate tens of thousands of dollars to causes that we care about, hire a team, create jobs and opportunities, travel first class, have the luxury lifestyle, live the life I'd always wanted. And so I share that only to say, for any level that you feel like you have been stuck for a long time, it doesn't have to stay that way. It truly doesn't. And I'll share some of the keys of the journey today. And so again, I'm going to share with you these 3 core areas that I think are really critical for a woman to grow in, to go from 6 to multi-6 and 7 figures. I'm going to do some teaching. I'm going to share something super exciting. And then we're going to go into live coaching. So there's going to be a lot of time for live coaching and conversation at the end. Please write down questions as we go, write down your specific scenario, what you want to be coached on. I would also say, make sure you've got something to write with and you've got a journal with you, please, because I'm going to have you be doing some exercises as we go. And I'm just checking chat really quick. Anna is saying yes to those green lights. Yes, yes, yes. I love it. Okay. So let's talk about what does it really take to step into more in your life? We're going to talk about money, and I'm going to speak about money in a different way than is commonly accepted by society. Okay. Our society generally celebrates the struggle. How many of us agree with that? That it celebrates the struggle, right? I see hands raising. It celebrates not having enough. It shames rich people, makes money wrong, right? And here's what I will say is what I say may trigger you because this conditioning is deep. Like we all had to some level, we've all been programmed with scarcity conditioning. We've all been programmed to some level to make money wrong. And if you get triggered by what I say, it's just notice it, write it down, because that part of you that's triggered is actually the part of you that will hold you back from making more money. And I'm happy to coach you on that as we go into the conversation part for today. But so you scaling from 6 to multi 6 or 7 figures, it's not about working harder. So maybe we can all breathe like can we breathe a big sigh of relief? Like it's not actually about you. I see Drea breathing. It's actually not about you working harder. Believe it. Who in here believes that? And who in here thinks I'm full of crap? You could be. Some of my she sells ladies, you're like, no, I know it. But Jen, you think I'm full of crap. No, I'm just yeah, I love you. Drea is saying, I pray it doesn't take more work. It doesn't. We're going to talk about why today. These are the 3 things that I have found in a woman's life will really move that needle for her. Again, it's not about working harder. Number 1, you have to expand your wealth consciousness. Now, that may not be a term you're familiar with. If it's not, it's literally just your money, your relationship with money. And what it really comes down to is worthiness. And so here's the thing, your level of income will never exceed your level of self-worth. Your level of income will never exceed your level of self-worth. And that was the biggest, I mean, honestly, when I go on podcasts or stages and people are like, what did it for you to go from 6 to 7? It wasn't a strategy. It wasn't a tactic. I realized there was a big part of me, the 6-figure version of me, she didn't feel worthy of more. She thought she should be satisfied with what she had. And she was all freaking out about the money she already had, that it was going to go away. So it's like, why is more going to come to me? That was the biggest thing. And so I do a lot of money healing work with clients. Most of us don't come from very wealthy, super just great relationship with money, family backgrounds, right? Some do, but I actually don't know if I've ever had a client come from that background. Not that it doesn't exist. They're probably just not my clients. They don't need me, right? But we were told at some point we were wrong for wanting more, or we saw our family in some sort of financial struggle, right? And that was normal. We got conditioned early on that was normal. And so we have to rewire and recondition our relationship with money. And again, it is a good, I want you to know, write this down. I love how you're taking notes. It is a good thing for you to want to be wealthy. It is a good thing for you to want to be wealthy. And I don't know how many of you have read The Science of Getting Rich. It's an early 1900s book. Everything is he. So I'm going to substitute pronouns for the sake of this conversation today. But Wallace Wattles, the author, says, whatever may be said in praise of poverty, the fact remains that it is not possible to live a really complete or successful life unless one is rich. No woman can rise to her greatest possible height in talent or soul development unless she has plenty of money. For to unfold the soul and to develop talent, she must have many things to use. And she cannot have these things unless she has money to buy them with. So again, I know, trigger. You can't live a full life unless you're trigger. I know if you're triggered right now, just breathe and notice it. It's okay. But I want you to really soak that in. It is not possible for you to live a complete or successful life unless you are rich. Now, rich is relative. It's different for every woman. And rich abundance, it's not about a money grab. It's not about a binge. It's about you having more than enough in all areas for you to live your most epic and aligned life. That's what it is. So really getting clear on what is the intention of the money, right? And how much do I require for my most epic life? But again, we're all here because we got to the 6-figure mark and we realized it ain't cutting it, right? It's going to require more. So you've got to define rich for you. But that's what it is. It's living in the overflow. And something to be aware of, and we'll do some coaching on this today, but not having enough, not allowing yourself to have more than enough is a convenient way of staying small. It is a convenient way of staying small. When we don't have enough, we can say no to things. We can say no to giving. We can say no to hiring. We can say no to things that would really stretch us. And it's a hidden defense mechanism. So it's something to be aware of because, again, so many times these things are subconscious and we don't even realize they're going on. So something else to be aware of here in terms of money and wealth consciousness. We all have a financial set point. So if you want to know what it's like the amount you're comfortable making, just like a thermostat kind of sets the room at a certain temperature. Look at what you've made for the past 6 to 12 months, right? That's your set point. It will typically be within 3% of what your parents made, give or take. For me, mine was $10,000 months. That was my set point for so long. And here's the good news. You can raise it. If it's not cutting it for you, you can raise it. But it takes a concerted effort, and it takes consciously surrounding yourself with people who are making more or saying yes to making more, up-leveling your environment, and conditioning yourself to normalize the new amount, which means really rewiring your beliefs about what's possible and what's normal for you. And then it also takes stepping into a real vision of your future and your life. And so just to be completely frank, your life right now, like your current results, it's old news. It's old news. If whatever amount of money you're making, it's because of what you were being, thinking, doing a couple weeks ago, a couple months ago, a couple years ago. And yet when we keep looking at our existing reality and we're not connected to that bigger vision of what's possible, we're going to keep getting the same thing because you get whatever you focus on. So I want to take you through a brief visioning exercise here. And this is the type of thing that I really have my clients do on a daily basis to really connect with that next level vision of their lives. I'm going to use 50,000 in the vision. I know some of you are here for more. That's great. For some of you, it may be, I want 25. I don't care what it is. Insert your number. All right. But I want to invite each of you to close your eyes and to get really settled in your seat. Just breathing in deeply and seeing that it is 6 months from today. So it's the beginning of 2023. You're waking up on a beautiful morning after a great night's sleep. You feel rested. You're happy. You're peaceful. You're eager for the day. I want you to just notice where you're waking up. Is it in your current location? Are you on vacation somewhere? Are you in your dream home? And as you wake up, you just feel grateful. You feel so much gratitude that you're surrounded by clients, opportunities, abundance, love. And you feel so proud of yourself and the woman that you've become. You've really stepped into your relationship with receiving. As you stand up and look in the mirror and look at yourself, you are just in awe of the woman looking back at you. And I want you to notice how you look, what you're wearing. You almost don't even recognize yourself from just a few months ago. And you seem to have cultivated this amazing ability to just snap your fingers and make things happen, drawing everything you want to you. You're receiving so much praise, so much attention, so much love, so much money. You're so confident. And so as you go into your morning routine, you do your exercise, and a bit later in the morning, you go to check your bank account. And you just did it. You just hit your $50,000 month. You feel so proud. You feel so excited. You feel so expansive. You feel the feelings of abundance and freedom flooding over your body like you haven't felt before. And I want you to just notice, who are you surrounded by? Who are you telling? Who are you celebrating with? What does that feel like? What are they saying to you? I want you to hear them telling you how amazing you are and how proud they are of you and that you decided to go for it. And now it's time to plan your celebration. I want you to notice where you're going, what you're doing. Are you going on a trip somewhere? How are you going to travel? You're going to go to your favorite restaurant. What clothes are you wearing? Who's included in your celebration? How does it feel? And again, I want you to notice that this is such a true double blessing. And who's benefiting from you stepping up to your next level? Is it your family? If so, how are they benefiting? Is it your team? Is it your clients? Is it more clients that you're now serving and you're helping them, changing their lives? You're so proud. And you know that this energy and celebration and gratitude is what's going to continue to create more quantum leaps for you. And it's truly just the tip of the iceberg of what's possible for you. You have so much gratitude for your life. You're so grateful that you said yes to more, yes to your greatness, yes to your epic life. I want you to just breathe that in for a few moments. Remembering the fact that because you can envision it and because it's a desire, it's already yours. So when you're ready, opening your eyes, coming into this moment. But that's how connecting to the vision and really feeling the expansiveness and the abundance in your body and conditioning yourself that that's your normal. It has to be a daily practice, but it will, I promise you, if you consistently do it, it will up-level your wealth consciousness. You will start creating and living into that vision. So I wanted to give you just a taste of what that's like if it's been a while since you connected with that. So we talked about wealth consciousness. Let's talk about the second. It's not about working harder. Again, it's not about working harder. Oh, Andrea, I'm so glad that that spoke to you. That's beautiful. I'm so glad. So we have been taught a very masculine way of achieving goals and business success. I'm here to tell you, it's kind of like we're playing out of a playbook that was never designed for us as women. So we're not going to go super deep, but we are going to talk for a moment about masculine versus feminine and what that looks like in terms of how you create financial results and success in your life. We all have man, woman, other, I don't care. We all have both masculine and feminine energy in us. In my own journey, I had no idea that this was a thing for most of my life. And I was completely in my masculine energy for most of my life, hence panic attacks, anxiety, burnout. So if you're not familiar, masculine versus feminine energy, just real quick overview. Masculine it's about structure. It's about systems. It's about the logical. It's for any of you who are in industries where it's like, make 100 calls, get 20 contacts, close 2 deals. That's masculine. Okay. Nothing wrong with it, but it's not actually how we do it most powerfully as women. It's the push. It's the force. It's the hustle. The masculine is also about giving, and it's very outcome oriented. Feminine energy, it's about the quantum leap. It's about the illogical in a good way. It's about going from $10,000 months to $100,000 months in 6 weeks. It's doing like women in this community have done and go from $0 to $50,000 months in 6 months. People from the outside will tell you that's not possible. It is when we're tuned in and tapped into our true superpower. So it's about tapping into your intuition, feeling compelled to reach out to 5 key clients and closing 2 of them rather than 100 calls, smile and dial, say the same thing over and over again. It's about the pull. It's about pleasure. So one of the affirmations that really changed things for me, I didn't believe it at first, but it's huge. The more fun you're having, the more money you're making. As women, the more we're in fun, the more we're in pleasure, the more we're enjoying things, the more money we make. It's relational, it's about receiving, and it's about the journey. So we need both. right? If we take this glass of water, the glass is structure. It's the masculine. The water is the feminine. If it didn't have the glass, it would spill all over the place, right? So we need structure, we need systems, but the glass without any water in it doesn't do us any good. It's completely dry. As a woman, you will experience the most success and you will experience a true financial quantum leap if you aim for 70% in your feminine, 30% in your masculine. It's not always possible, especially if you're a mom. You're actually in your masculine when you're a mom because you're giving, you're caretaking. So it's like, that's a rough estimate. It's not going to be perfect. But how do you know if you've got an imbalance and you're more in your masculine? Things feel hard. They feel heavy. You feel uninspired. Is anyone related? And again, there's nothing wrong here. This is how I live. I see hands going up. Yeah, like there's no shame in it. This is how we're taught we have to be successful. Things feel like a push. You're experiencing health issues. You're in anxiety or overwhelm. It's clear indicators that there's an imbalance there. And you're not going to make as much money with this energy imbalance in your life. There are so many fallacies about how to be successful in business that are just completely based on masculine energy. It's not wrong for everyone, but it's wrong for us as women. And so one of the things that I'll speak in a moment about how to shift more into your feminine, and then I can coach you on that during the conversation portion. But it is a key for us as women to shift how we approach business and money making. And like I said before, it is harder to get to your first 6 figures than it is to $1 million. It really is. So this is hopefully exciting. This is inspiring, but it can also be like, how is that even possible? Here's what I know. We hold ourselves back from going for more because it was so hard to get to where we are. How many of you can relate to that? Where you're like, I'm already working all hours. Thank you for the honesty. I'm already working all hours. Now you're telling me I'm going to double it or triple it. And I've just, when we think it's because we're going to double or triple our work output. Can you get there that way? Yes. Will it take a long time, be hard, you'll be miserable? Yes. There is a different way of doing it that will unlock so many new levels for you. And so in your journey of scaling to your next financial level, do we put tactical and business and sales systems in place as needed? Yes, absolutely. Because the feminine needs the structure and support of the masculine. But from there, you leaning into your feminine and what creates the quantum leap and what did it for me, it wasn't about harder work. It's about leading with the vision. It's about leveraging fun and pleasure. It's about when things feel heavy, you can set them down. You're never going to create what you want from energy that feels heavy. And then when it's light, you pick it back up. It's about stepping into a new level of worthiness in relationship with money. It's about alignment. It's about evaluating with everything that I'm doing. Does the woman who is at a $50,000 month or insert your number, is that what she would do? Is that what she would think? Is that how she would act? Is that how she would feel? And it's about you starting to embody her now. So it's about being really strategic and effective, not about doubling down on more of the same. It's saying yes to more opportunities. It's getting really comfortable with receiving. And receiving is part of the feminine. So often we shut off that part of ourselves, whether it's from sexual trauma. I work with a lot of clients who have that type of background, being shamed early on. I'll share a brief story of a client, and it's a little bit of like a heavy story. So apologies for that in advance, but it's an example of how this stuff unlocks. I have an incredible client. She's a successful career woman. She has a successful business on the side. And she couldn't understand though why she had such a hard time asking for money from her clients. Everything else was easy for her, but she couldn't understand why it was so hard to ask for money. And we did a bit of work on some of her upbringing and her experiences around money. And she had a pretty rough upbringing and a pretty gnarly stepdad. We'll just say that. And this memory came to her while we were working together, where she remembered she was in her teens and she had to ask him for money for a school trip. And he was out back. I think he was smoking and drinking and hanging out with his friends. And she went out and she really didn't want to ask him because she knew he wasn't going to want to do it. But she said, hey, I don't know, it was like $100 for a school trip. And he looked at her and he said, you can have it if I can backhand you. Which even as I say that, like, it's uncomfortable to even say it because it's so wrong. But there is a point to this. And so she really needed the money. And so she said, okay. So in front of all his friends, he slaps her and hands her the money. And when she had that aha, that there was such conditioning early on that receiving money comes with shame, embarrassment, pain. It was like, of course, I don't want to ask my clients for money, right? And so again, every woman's story is different. Every woman's journey is different. But what I find is more often than not, we've all had an experience where there was some sort of condition linked with receiving. There was some sort of pain linked with receiving. And we actually shut that part of ourselves off. And so it's really about healing that part of ourselves. And it's about, and helping us feel really safe receiving, being visible. If there's any part of you that struggles with visibility, putting yourself out there, it's all related as well. So as women, we have to get great at receiving. And when we do, that's when the quantum leaps come. That's when you feel like, oh my gosh, where has this money been all along? I didn't realize it could actually be so easy. And then the third element, I invite you to become unavailable to struggle financially ever again and to not have your desires fulfilled. There's this concept of secondary gains. So when I ask you, how are you benefiting from not having enough? What's your instant reaction? I want you to type it in the chat. How are you benefiting from not having enough? Always wanting more. Okay. I'm not benefiting. Right. So we all say no comment. Okay. That's fair. So of course we all say like, I'm not benefiting, right? Here's the thing. There is some way in which you're benefiting. And it's this concept of secondary gain. So I'll give you an example. Thank you, Joe, right? I don't have to step out of my comfort zone. Anna, lower taxes. Jen, making others not feel bad. Okay, so we get it, right? It's like there is some benefit. I don't have to push beyond where I've already been. Exactly. So that's what I'm talking about here. There is a benefit. One of my other clients is a financial advisor, really just incredible woman. And she told this story. She'd been stuck for a while in her corporate career and hadn't felt like she'd really gone to the level she wanted. And she's also a spin instructor. So she's in great shape. She can definitely smoke me, working out, I would probably smoke most of us. She's in great shape. But she told this story of going to spin class, and she'd be in class, and when she was participating, there's this leaderboard up on the wall of everybody's score. And she's good. So when she starts working, she's like creeping up the leaderboard. And she said, I noticed anytime I got to number 2, I would slow down. And no, I think most men would hear that and be like, why wouldn't you just push through to number 1? Like, of course, like you're so close. Why aren't you going to push? But for her, and I see a lot of heads nodding. So it was, what does it mean for me to have so much attention on me? So be in the spotlight, right? For people to see me as number 1. And she realized she was doing that same thing in her career. And when she finally kicked out of that and was like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm done with being scared of being visible. I'm done with, what if I am number 1, right? That would actually be amazing. She actually went for the promotion she wanted, and in 3 weeks doubled her income. And so we have to become aware of, how am I benefiting? So that's a really good question to ask yourself. How am I benefiting from not having enough? And so what we have to look at is, too many women will put their lives on layaway. And really looking at, have you put your life on layaway? We think someone else is going to give us permission. Someone else is going to give us the green light. We stay small. We don't go for it. We shrink back. We don't realize it's a defense mechanism. Here's what I'm here to say today. No one else is going to give you permission. No one else will give you permission. It is on you. And if not now, when? And this is what really woke me up out of my 10-year just fog. I realized I've been giving my power away, and I've been waiting for other people to tell me that I could do it or it was the right time. I've been waiting for permission. So again, you can trust your desires, and you can trust the timing of your desires. And the very fact that $50,000 or more months are a desire for you means they are meant for you, and they're meant for you now, not in a year, not in 5 years, now. I want you to really get that and own that. Like, the fact that I'm even here wanting this today means it's meant for me now. We don't have to overcomplicate it. And one of the things I teach, and one of the things you'll learn as we talk, like, you don't need to know the how. The how comes once you make the committed decision that this is happening. All you need to know is that you want it. Now, it will require stretching. It will require getting uncomfortable. I had to get radically uncomfortable, not in more action, more push, but just stretching myself way out of my comfort zone in order to break out of my own rut. Again, I invested half of what I made the year before in a mentor. I didn't have the money. I had to put the deposit on a credit card. I was super uncomfortable, but if you're not uncomfortable, you're not growing, is all I have to say. And so I always like to think about it as, and I want you to really get this, what you want wants you back. That vision you have, reading your intakes, reading about the homes that you desire, reading about the travel that you desire, reading about, for some of you, launching a new business or creating more consistent cash flow or having a husband, having a baby, right? That desire, what you want, it wants you back. So literally imagining it as a person, right? It wants you so badly. It's like, I know she is going to do so much good with this. I know there's so much good we can do together. It's literally sitting there waiting for you to claim it. And so it sees the vision of your life. And for those, the lives of those you want to help and serve, and wants to be on your journey with you, and is so excited for you to say yes to it. Yes to that vision of more. So remembering always, it wants you back, and it's yours for the taking. And so I want to take maybe 10, 15 minutes, share about something we're doing this year. And then I want to open it up for roundtable conversation and coaching. So please, hopefully some good ideas have been generated from the first part of this. If you've got questions, if you've got ideas, if you have specific coaching questions on your own situation, be writing those down. Oh, thank you. And I'm so glad this spoke to you. Absolutely. So I want to share about this. And then, like I said, we're going to go into roundtable conversation and coaching. So some of you have participated, some of you are familiar, some of you are not. We are opening up our 50K Club program this fall, and I'm so excited about it. It's probably my favorite thing we've ever done in She Sells. When we launched She Sells, we had one thing. We had the 10K Club, and it was for women who wanted to come in and hit $10,000 months. And what happened was we had amazing women come in. They came in, they hit those $10,000 months quickly, and we're like, okay, where do we go from here? Then what? And what I found was that there was another level that was needed for women. And once you're at that 10K, even 20K month level, it's a different level of conversation and support that's needed to get to that next level for you. And so the 50K Club was created to help women like you who are already at that 6-figure level scale to more. Embrace it, like step into that full version of them and their lives. So scaling to 50K plus per month in high support with an incredible community, and making their own rules about it too. So we're about abundance. We're about speed, things not needing to take longer than necessary. We're about enjoying the journey. And we just did our first round starting January of this year. I was so blown away by the women in this program. You're going to meet a few of them today. 40% of the women in the program hit at or very close to a 50K month within 1 to 6 months. One of them literally hit it in the first month. These were not women who were close. Okay. 2 of these women had been at 0 6 months prior. So again, this does not have to take a long time. Other women in the program, because again, it's not all about just the money piece. Other women launched new businesses that are now skyrocketing or made multi-6 figures working a few hours a day. And so it's, to me, this is just, I'm so lit up about this program. I'm going to do a quick screen share and show you what's involved. Let me pull this up here. Okay, hopefully everyone can see that. See that okay there. So it is, women are like, is this all mindset? No, it's, there are all the tactical elements needed. So for you, I know some of you are in corporate, and for you, it may be about what would it look like from a sales process and system to really scale my sales to this level. Some of you are entrepreneurs and you need help launching a new program, a new revenue stream. You need help working with higher level clients, whatever it is. So all of the tactical is there in terms of strategy, team building, sales strategy, leadership, et cetera. But it's also a lot of what we talked about today. It's what we talked about today is 95% of what's going to get you from 10K months to 50K months. And so let me scroll down here and share with you. I'll pop the link in a little bit in the comments here. But so here's what it includes. I'm going to go through step by step here. So I'm going to pull them up as we go. So it includes a private kickoff intensive with me to help map out your strategy to hit your 50K months. 2 Mastermind Retreats, which I'm so excited about. I can tell you one of them is going to be in Sedona in January. The women in this program are going to have a special day just for them at this event. And then there's a larger event you're getting access to as well. And then the second one, we will be announcing details on soon for 2023, monthly group coaching with me and with the rest of the women. We also use a group. I don't know if anyone uses Marco Polo, but we use a group messaging app called Marco Polo. So in between calls, you have coaching support from me. You've got the community and the mastermind of the other women. And when we ran this before, it was so cool to see the community that was formed, because again, I think for women like us, there's not always that community, right? We may feel like we're a lone wolf. We may feel like we've got to go it alone. We may feel like other people don't get us or understand us. Trust me, there are women out there who are like you, who are on the journey with you and who want to help you grow and scale. So we've got this incredible community that forms in this messaging app, and I'm available to coach you as well through there. You get access to one of my other programs, the 10K Club, which is it's a beautiful, incredible program. Guest mentors. I bring in my guest mentors to help coach you. These are literally people who have scaled 7, 8, 9-figure businesses. We've got some confirmed, some names we're still confirming for this year. So I'm not going to tell you everyone, but I can tell you one is one of my personal mentors, Mel Abraham. He's, if you know Brendan Burchard or James Wedmore, he's behind the scenes who's helped them scale 9-figure businesses. So you get to literally be coached by them. And then this is something I'm so excited about. This is brand new for this year, but one of the things that I have heard from a lot of women in our community, and I'm going to introduce you to someone in a moment, is they have a desire to write a book. I'm just curious, like show of hands, does anyone in here have that desire? And so this was actually, this woman is incredible, but she was a member of our first cohort, went on to form just a little thing like a publishing company as a result. And so as a group for this next collective, we are going to be publishing a book together. My goal for every woman in this program is you can add best-selling author to your bio as a result. And we're going to be promoting the heck out of you with the book launch as well, which I'm so excited about. And so the investment for the program, you can do paid in full, $28,000. We also have a payment plan, $8,000 deposit, 11 monthly installments of $2,500. And then there is a VIP option too, if you want additional one-on-one support. And if you're curious about that, we can hop on a call and talk about it. So I'm going to have a few of our previous members share, and then we're going to open up for roundtable conversation and live coaching about anything that you need support on today. Let me stop the share here, but I will say the process, it is an application process. We're opening it up for September. I have time available tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday to take calls with women. So if you want to talk to me about it, I'm going to pop the link in here. Boom, we schedule a call. Hopefully you can tell, I'm not high pressure. I'm really about you finding what's in alignment for you and you stepping into whatever is going to give you the best results in your life. So I'd say if it's even like something like that kind of sounds amazing, I have no idea how financially or whatever, book a call, let's talk, we'll figure it out. So, okay. So I want to introduce Michelle Fishering in the house. So Michelle, you were a member of our first cohort and you went on to create something pretty incredible. I'd love if you could share just a few minutes about your experience and then also tell the women about this book, what it's going to be like, what they could expect. So I'm going to have you unmute and share.
Okay. Hello, beautiful ladies. I am a little emotional, actually, just like being back in this space. And I feel this way every time I listen to Elise's podcast every morning. And I always feel like, yes, like the kick in the pants I need, or that soul, like, yes. And that's how I feel right now. So I am very exuberant that I was like over here, like getting a little emotional. So I came into Elise's world not even a year ago, actually, quite. It was like in October-ish, I think, of last year. And I had been stuck at that 10K months in a career that turned into some consulting, but still in the same field for a very long time. I had a lot of good things in my life, but I was unable to see them because I was drained and I felt like this teeny tiny, small, paper thin, blah, bland version of myself. And I could see the woman who I wanted to be. And she was vibrant and she was soft and she was strong and she was just this incredible woman. But she was so far from reach. And I heard Elise on a podcast and she was talking about stepping into the fullness of who, like that being a goal. Like I wanted to step into the fullness of who I am. And my whole world shifted with that one sentence, because I started uncovering what that meant for me. I contacted Elise. I came into her world. Immediately, she was enrolling for the first round of the 50K club. And I said, I need to be in that room. I want to be having conversations with women who I don't feel bad. Like I have to be like, oh yeah, sorry. Yes, I am at that financial amount, but I know that makes other people feel uncomfortable. So I don't want to say too much. And it was the best decision I've ever made. I'm not even being like facetious or grandiose or anything. Like my entire life, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my feminine, like I didn't even know that being feminine was okay. Like I didn't even know that it was okay to be a woman until I came into this room with these beautiful women. And I see some of them here and I'm so just happy to see your beautiful faces. So I would just say that I made the decision to come into the 50K club at a time when I was stuck and small. And in 6 months, I have expanded more than I ever thought possible. I have become the woman I always wanted to be. My marriage is not only strong and healthy, but like feels so wonderful for me and my husband. We have just I can appreciate the beautiful life that I've built. And from all of this, I left behind a career and a life that was really draining for me. And I founded a publishing company called Chambre Blue Press. It is a manifestation of all that is like good in my heart and my soul. It is me bringing that fullness of myself into every moment of every day. It is like the best thing I could ever have imagined. And it was something that I thought was a dream far, far off in the future, distant. Maybe one day I'll do that, until I decided to ask a better question and say, why not today? And that was all because of Elise in this space. So happy to, if anybody wants to reach out to me directly and ask any questions about my experience in the 50K club, I'm absolutely more than happy to also support you in that way. This book that we're doing is going to be so exciting. I'm really excited for the opportunity to work with this community in this way. Each woman will contribute one chapter to co-create this beautiful book that's going to go out in the world, that is going to exist kind of like a TED Talk, like a TEDx, right? So there's an overarching theme, and everybody brings their story and their unique perspective to what that theme looks like and what that theme means for them. So you're going to write your chapter with support from me. It's going to be edited. It's going to be, there's nothing sloppy happening here. It is going to be beautiful. It's going to be well done. So don't worry about being scared or fearful around writing. There's lots of ways around that. It's going to come out there. We're going to put it all together. It's going to have a beautiful cover. We are going to get Amazon bestseller. There's all kinds of strategies to make that happen. So you will become a best-selling author, and you will you'll have an opportunity to share your story with the world. You'll have an opportunity to add to your bio, I'm an author. And between Elise and all of myself and the other women who are contributing to this book, all of those networks, your message, your purpose, your impact is going to hit all of those networks. And so from an impact perspective, but also then from a business decision perspective, you're going to be exposed to so many people and so many communities that you might never have been exposed to before. You'll have a bio, a headshot at the end of your chapter, and a little QR code that will link to whatever website you'd like it to link to. And so it would be really easy for people to, snap their little QR and go to wherever you want to direct them to. So I think, did I kind of cover everything, Elise?
You covered it. It was amazing.
So I tried to like fill it. I'm sorry. I could have just like talked about all this for like 30 minutes. So I tried to like condense
I know.
it.
I was like 2 to 5 minutes. Talk about your experience and the book. I know it's a lot.
All the things. But hopefully that was like a good summary.
That was amazing. Yeah. Thank you. So it's so beautiful to see. Again, it's the double blessing, right? And for each of you, for your desires, it's that double blessing of saying yes. Like Michelle, like everyone in here who, who's done the program before, who's looking at like it's an investment, right? And it feels scary sometimes to say like, I'm saying yes to my dream. I'm going for my desires. You didn't know what was on the other side of that. You didn't know, but here we are. You've got your publishing coming out, all these beautiful women, whoever, this is in alignment with, gets to go and become a best-selling author and expand their lives. And so you never know. So thank you so much. I want to create space for 2 other women to pop on. Last, certainly not least, Laura Grabavoy, so good to have you. Would you please take just a moment or two and share who you are, why you're a part of the program, what you experienced, and what you think these ladies need to know?
Yes, absolutely. So good to be here and see so many people on. My name is Laura Grabavoy. I am actually a senior private banker in the financial industry. I work with high net worth clients. I was not in that position before I met Elise. So I'm in the financial industry for 30 years, and I did a lot of different things. I won a lot of awards. I was a branch manager for many years. I worked in kind of this wealth space, and I was that kind of person that everybody loves in corporate. I would volunteer, I would do things, I would, again, just show up and be there. And not that it's bad, but I wasn't getting paid to do it. I was doing my manager's job for so long. And so working with Elise initially in the 10K club, I was like, wow, I am so over delivering and giving so much power away. And so really just seeing my worth and saying, I deserve better than this. And so literally within, I'd say 6 months of working with Elise through a lot of the mindset and limiting beliefs, one of the biggest things for me is, I grew up in a really toxic family environment. I was sexually abused. My household, my father, who really wasn't my father, but we'll keep that short. I thought he was physically abusive to both my mom, myself, and my family, just really a lot of alcoholic behaviors too from both of them. But I had been through so much growth and change and working on myself. And what really helped me so much was to see that my purpose wasn't to heal in life, that I get to heal as part of my journey, but it wasn't my purpose, and I made it my purpose. And it made me too, with my self-worth, just always trying to please and, having a victim mentality. So I get to really shift that. And when I shifted that, amazing things happened for me. I literally had 3 jobs that I've ever wanted in my life presented to me, and I got to pick which one I wanted. And I doubled my income. And that's not something that's easy to do in corporate. I remember having a conversation with the HR lady, and she kind of like choked when I told her what I wanted. Like, really? Sorry, I'm getting a call. But I chose then to step into the 50K Club. It was more of a declaration for myself. It was more, to me, an investment in myself. And as been shared on the call today, when I'm in the environment I want to be, I'm surrounded by the beautiful women in the 50K Club. That there is not a community out there in the corporate environment. They try to have mentoring, they try to have mirror things within the community, but the community of women and being around all of them, the coaching, the expansiveness that I felt, and really the green light of desires, really just being open to that and seeing so many other women going after their desires and knowing that this is safe, this is normal, we get to normalize this. And so again, I could probably keep going on and on, but thank you, Elise. So much good stuff.
Oh, so much love for you. And I love what you said, Laura, about we get to normalize this. Because you're right, it's not normalized, it's not celebrated. I mean, it's been a while since I've been in corporate, so sometimes I even and I know there's women here who are entrepreneurs, there's women who are in corporate, so we honor everyone, but sometimes I forget just like the conditioning and the lack of community. I think we're in the She Sells world, we are privileged to have this community and we've created it, but you don't have to go it alone. We get to normalize having more, saying yes to our desires, etc. So to all three of you, Michelle, Amy, Laura, thank you so much for sharing your experiences there and for being members of this community. One quick thing I'll say, which I didn't say before, giving is so important. It's a core value of She Sells. It's a core value of, I think, probably all of us. So for this particular, we give a portion of revenue for everything in the company, but for this particular program, we donate a percentage of revenue to an organization that really helps with women's issues. It actually goes into women's prisons and helps them with healing and helps with people with pretty extreme medical issues as well. And so I think it's just, again, it's that circulation and the double blessing of money. So if it's aligned and for whoever says yes, you will know that a portion of what you're doing is going to give back as well. So again, book a call, elisearcher.com/50K club. I've got tomorrow, and then I've got sometime Monday and Tuesday. We're taking applications now. Even if you're like, again, remember, if it's a desire, if it's speaking to you, you don't need to know the how. If it's a desire, just book the call, get it done. We'll talk, we'll see. I'm not about pushing or forcing anything, but it is a conversation to see what your vision is. Where do you want to be this time next year? And then how can you get there? So go ahead and book the call this afternoon if that is speaking to you. With that, I want to open it up for everyone. I'm so excited to see some familiar faces. I'm so excited to meet some beautiful new faces here. What I would love for you to do, please, is put your name in line in the chat. And this can be for coaching on anything that came up today. This can be for coaching on something specific. I read on some of your intakes, it's like, how do I get more consistent cash flow coming in? Or how do I, how do I get my own way with stuff or whatever? So this is your time. So put your name in line in the chat. If you have questions on the program, I'm certainly happy to answer those too. But I really want this to be an opportunity for you to be visible, to be seen, to get your questions asked, and to take advantage of the time. So Michelle, you are first in line. I love it. Let's go.